Swinging a ground ball, stabbed by Folk. He has it. He underhands to first, and the Boston Red Sox are the world champions for the first time in 86 years.
Together they have, and together they stand alone on top of the mountain for now. And once again, the Boston Celtics stand alone for all time. It is banner 18.
No icing. For the first time in 39 years, the Boston Bruins have won the Stanley Cup.
And a title for the Patriots!
I can't believe it!
They have completed the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
Good morning, listeners. Welcome in to episode 25 of a New Era podcast. My name is Hanson, better known as Fryddy online. And this morning I am here with my dad, the OG Frid. Dad, would you like to say hello to the listeners?
Good morning, listeners. Good morning, Hanson. Hate to say, you did an amazing job at putting together that intro that we have now. It just, again, chills about listening to all of our championships, latest championships, great games that the City of Champions have come to know in these last couple of years. And you got to change it already, man.
I know, I do. And I thought about doing that yesterday, and it completely slipped my mind until you just brought it up now. I don't know when I'll get that updated, but that'll be updated sooner rather than later. Might have a couple more episodes with our old intro just to give it a little love. We literally had like 1 week of a new intro, and now we gotta fucking change it up again.
Yeah.
But that's good stuff. Those are good problems to have. This morning, June 24th, we're now a week away from the Celtics have won banner 18. A lot of celebration last week. Parade on Friday. I'm not sure how much of that you got to watch. But we've had a nice week, our victory tour week here, seeing all the people talk their shit about the Celtics that they did throughout the year, just to see them shut up, which is pretty cool. So we'll talk a lot about, one last go at this Celtics team, this banner 18 team, this NBA champion team, how we felt, about their season, about this series, and how much we can't wait until they're back on the floor in September, somewhere around there, November. We've.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we've got the Sox. Sox are good. Sox are really good again. Sox are a playoff team right now. Sox are a wild card playoff team, I think.
Yep.
So a lot to talk about there on an incredible week that we kind of almost said. We're coming up on the All-Star game in the MLB, so we got to start petitioning for some of our Sox to make it into the game because they are a playoff team. And then outside of that, we're really just going to shoot the shit. There's not too much else that we've got here for today's episode. So that sounded like you had something to say there. Go ahead with it.
Well, we were talking about obviously the Celtics, and when we get to see them back on the floor in September, was listening to Pardon My Take, and they actually had Joe on interviewing him right after, which was a testament to those guys, getting him immediately after. I think also a testament to Joe and how he wants to go ahead and talk. And he was mentioning, I guess, in the locker room, championship, getting on the damn plane, even, he was talking to his coach. He's like, guys, we're already behind. We're already behind for next year.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, he was telling his coaches, on the plane down to Miami after they're setting up and listening to some music and stuff. But his comment was, we're already behind going into next year.
And you'd never know that.
That mentality, man.
You'd never know it from a guy that, if you saw him Friday celebrating for the parade, he was jumping on top of the duck boat, fucking getting everybody loud. At some point he got off the duck boat, was just walking with the crowd, just high-fiving everybody. It was really cool to see. Everybody had a good time at the parade. Sam Hauser was absolutely blitzed. But no, they celebrated as they should. Tatum and Brown looked like they were having a great time, as well as everybody else. Al Horford looked like him and his duck boat were having a great time for him being a first-time champion. But it was really cool to see Joe just walking the streets of Boston, just like hyping everybody up, high-fiving, doing all this. He was really getting into it. And there was a lot of stuff on Twitter that I saw where people were quoting videos of him and being like, this is the coach we need. Like Ime would have never done this. This is just Joe. Which is true. I mean, I love Joe. I don't understand the people that were coming for his neck last year after we lose in a game 7 of an Eastern Conference final. Like, you can have worse ends to the season. You can miss the playoffs, as multiple teams do a year. So people were coming for his neck, and I think that was Friday was his sort of fuck you parade too, to be able to walk through and be like, hey, no, this is my team. We've done it once now, and we're going to do it again. So
it's he is. I can see him. Casey Jones. Again, we never loved Doc Rivers. Bill Russell actually coached us a little bit. I just remember Casey Jones, Brad Stevens. I think Joe could go down. Chris Ford. Oh my God, I almost forgot. Chris Ford coached us for a little bit.
I have no clue who that is.
Yeah, he was a guard for us. I can see him staying for as freaking long as he wants and going down as one of the best coaches we've ever had. And we've had some incredible damn coaches in our history.
Well, I mean, you think about it, he's got to be on that pace. Well, not pace, but he's got to be on that road, being 36, 37, and youngest coach to win an NBA Finals or make an NBA Finals and win an NBA Finals since Bill Russell in 19 whatever, back in that day. So, he's set up. You've got the first one out of the way, which I think is the big thing with a team walking into, a team like that with the talent that they had, and then to make, a couple moves this offseason to get you to the point where you can really compete for that championship this year. I think the hardest thing is getting the first one out of the way. Now they come into next season, and, obviously we're going to want to try to go back to back and repeat. But I think there's a little less on your shoulders, a little less weight on your shoulders throughout the year, because, this last year, after we lost in game 7 and almost made the 3-0 comeback against the Heat last season, it was like, all right, well, it's championship or bust for the Celtics. Championship or bust. If they don't win the title, this is a failure of a season. This team stinks. Well, now you've won the title. So now you're not going to have that cloud hanging over your team all of next year of they need to win. They need it to get it done now. Now it's, can they go back to back? The whole mindset, the whole connotation in which they talk about our team now, the national media, the Boston media, whoever's talking about basketball, has now switched. And I think, I don't know if Joe liked the talk this year because it really gave them motivation, but at the same time, I don't even know if Joe is one of those guys to care. I feel like they probably heard it at the start of the year. They were like, all right, whatever. They went through it for 2 weeks, and then they were like, okay, bro, whatever we say, if we lose, they're going to say something. If we win, we're going to say something. Let's just play it out. And I think that's going to be the mindset for next year. But like I said, you got less of this pressure that you need to win the chip now. It's going to be, can they go back to back for the first time since the Warriors?
Yeah, I think he is a coach that wants to use motivation, tactics, if you will, them talking, whatnot. But I guess it's got to be, can we be, going back to back? I have right here pulled up the team payroll going into next year, and let's see, Luke Cornett, free agent. So, like, you really don't need him to come back. Xavier Tillman, Drew Peterson, J.D. Davis. I mean, that's it. You're bringing everybody else back?
Yeah, you really are. And I mean, we like Luke and he played his part. And same thing with Xavier Tillman. I think one of those will be re-signed at least. But then if not, you just got to replace him with another vetman sort of, court stretching 4 or 5. And then, yeah, you're right back at the same team that you had. I mean, there's already talks of Derek White getting his extension this offseason, even though he's got a year left on his contract. Not a extension this offseason, which would take him for another 4 years. Then you've got Tatum, Drew, Derek, Brown on payroll for at least another 3 each, and Porzingis for another 2, I think. So, yeah, I mean, the team's very set up to go back-to-back. I don't think we've seen a team this set up to go back-to-back after looking as dominant as they have in the year in a while. I mean, you talk about, just this team and statistics here. I've got this tweet from Sean Grande. This is just kind of a summary of this year's Celtics team. There's a lot going on here, so I'm going to just run through some of these stats. And if you hear one you like, let me know. We can talk about it, all right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2023-2024, Boston Celtics, NBA champions. Second team in 16-win playoff era to only lose 3 playoff games. One of 8 teams in NBA history to outscore teams by 10+ for the regular season and playoffs. 10.72 scoring margin, 6th best in NBA history. 7th longest playoff win streak at 10. Never trailed in a playoff series. 80 total wins. 80 wins plus 79% win percentage. 9th in NBA history. In the regular season, they had the NBA's best record. Won the Eastern Conference by 14 games, which is the largest NBA conference win since 1976. 11.34 scoring margin. 5th best in NBA history. 15.22 scoring margin at home, 3rd best in NBA history. 1.22 points per possession, best offense in NBA history. 1,351 threes made, 2nd most in NBA history. 37 home wins, 3rd in franchise history, most in NBA in the last 8 years. Won or tied season series with 28 out of 29 teams. Denver was the only one we didn't. NBA's best home record, 37-4. Fewest road losses, 14. And best record in back-to-backs, 12-2. That's crazy. Clinched playoff spot 17 days before any other team. Clinched NBA's best record before 12 teams even clinched a playoff spot. Longest losing streak, 2 games. More 30-point leads, 17, than 10-point deficits, 16. Wow. NBA record, 17 25-point wins. NBA record, 10 30-point wins. NBA record, 3 50-point wins. 19 20-point wins, 1 20-point loss. 10 wire-to-wire wins, 1 wire-to-wire loss. 1,182 opponent free throws made, fewest in NBA history.
Yeah.
Now,
I was just I had seen some of that from Mike Greenberg. So I was just pulling that up too. He had 5 list of top 5 dominant Celtics season stats. Number 5 was the fact you brought this up again. Only other team was the 2016-17 Warriors. We had a 20-point lead, 50 of the 101 games they played. The Warriors had 53. Stat number 4, Celtics had 15 more wins than any other team. Yeah.
that's crazy stuff.
That's crazy. 3, how about this? Celtics are the 4th team ever to win at least 80 games in season in NBA history.
This brings up something, and I forgot I wanted to talk about this with you this week, and I just forgot to say it. But now we got the time. So obviously we knew what an amazing pace this team was on throughout the year, right?
Mhm.
And they were obviously, as we just saw historically and statistically, very good. But I saw the narrative start to change as soon as we finally won the chip. A little bit. Now, they're not pushing it too much, and I hope it's pushed a little more, but we'll see. How long, or rather, just when do you think? Because I think we could start having the conversation now. If we're talking statistically and comparing them to teams of that sort, like most recently the 2016-2017 Warriors, who, remember, did not win the ring, but are still considered one of the best teams of all time at 73-9. Now, granted, we're not 73-9. We finished the season 80-21. When can you start considering this Celtics team as one of the best teams in NBA history? Now, they're not the best. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to sit here and say this is the best team ever. They're not. But they're damn good. And statistically and everything, if you look at it, if you look at how successful this team was, if you look how dominant they were, didn't have a single playoff series extend to more than 5 games. I don't think they need to be number 1. I don't think they need to be number 5. But I definitely think we need to consider having this as a top 10 team ever in NBA history. When do you think that conversation starts? And compared to some of the older Celtics teams that probably take up a lot more of that real estate on that list, where do you compare them to?
Well, no, that's a great question. Here are my points. I think it should be sooner than later. Now, twofold. One being, how many, do we have to go? It's not the fact that you have to base this team and how well they do going forward into next year and next year. I mean, this team, aside from its, future aspirations, future back-to-backs, what have you, should just be held on its own, right? Looking up here, the top greeny stat was this team had the most 50-point, 40-point, 30-point, and 25-point wins in NBA history. So that alone, I mean, they should be in the top 5. But also the point, and unfortunately, because of the history and some of the other greatness associated with the team name, Boston Celtics, I think that's going to be part of the trouble, if you will, of having this team with NBA people who would put them in a top, rated team. Though, those media people, they still remember, hopefully, other fantastic Celtic teams, but they should be absolutely right now in the top 10. Absolutely.
In the top, that's what I'm saying, a top 10. Somebody actually just had this question on Reddit, on the NBA Reddit 6 days ago. So let me read this to you. So it goes, question, where does the Celtics team rank in terms of best NBA teams ever? I was just thinking about it, and this is one of the best 1 through 6 I've ever seen, in my opinion. Literally tons of elite defenders. Everyone can score, so many all-stars. Not true. We only had 2 all-stars. Thoughts? I just want to make that known. Everybody that's saying, oh, the fucking super team this, super team that. We had 1 all-NBA, and we had 2 all-stars. So, or did we? We might have had 1 all-star. Was Jaylen Brown not an all-star this year?
Yeah, Jaylen wasn't.
He wasn't.
Oh, wait a minute. No, he did play in the All-Star game. What am I saying? Yeah.
No.
Didn't he?
You sure about that?
Oh no, I was just thinking of the slam dunk. That's right. I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did. All-Star game rosters. NBA. No, I'm pretty sure he didn't. Oh no, he was. He was a reserve. But I don't think he was voted in. I wanna say like he was, I don't know. Regardless. Only 2 all-stars. So first reply says, including the playoffs, they're the 14th team to win 80 games. 13 of them were champions. The 16 Warriors were not. And they're the 12th best team to play at least .792 winning percentage. Again, 16 Warriors, only non-champion to do that. So I think they're reasonably, this guy says, I think they're reasonably about the 14th best team, though I could see them as low as 18th. He says, in order, I have the 96 Bulls, 17 Warriors, 72 Lakers, 97 Bulls, 86 Celtics, 16 Warriors, 71 Bucks, 83 Sixers, 15 Warriors, 67 Sixers. That's 10 teams. Then he says, then the 92 Bulls, 2000 Lakers, 87 Lakers, 2013 Heat, 62 Celtics, 01 Lakers, and 08 Celtics are in the conversation along with the 24 Celtics. I think they've got to be 10 in there. I think I'm taking them. I'm taking them over the 08 Celtics. We talked about this a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We were ranking them. If this team ends up going to win it, are they one of the best that we had seen? You know, I had put the 08 Celtics, I can't even remember where on that list, but I had said if the 24 Celtics go on to win this championship, I think they were moving up to 3 on my list, only behind the 2004 Red Sox and 2018 Red Sox. This is the third best Boston team I've seen. I think people want to discount it because it's the Celtics, but you need to look at this team from, you know, a very unbiased point of view, and you can realize this team was magnificent. They were dominant, just absolutely dominant. And when they lost and when they got kicked in the face, they came back and they looked dominant again. And it was never these tough stretches. It was never problems that really extended. It was a dominant team throughout the whole year. I think now 2000 Lakers were good. I'm going through this. 08 Celtics, I think they're better than them. 01 Lakers, I think they're better than that. 62 Celtics, yeah, I think this team's probably better. 2013 Heat. And this is probably the best comparison I know here. 2013 Heat, did they beat, is that the Spurs in the finals?
Yes.
First round beat the Bucks in 4, beat the Bulls in 5 second round, beat the Pacers in 7 in the Eastern Conference Finals, beat the Spurs in 7, and I think is that the Ray Allen shot? Is that the year they got saved by Ray Allen in the corner? If it is, then no. This 24 Celtics team is better than that 2013 Heat. I'm sorry. Everybody's going to listen to this and they're going to say, well, you guys are just Celtics fans. Compare the two fucking teams. Statistically and everything, that 24 Celtics team is beating that 23 Heat team in a 7-game series, and I'd honestly only let it go to 6.
Yeah. No, I agree. We would beat
87 Lakers. They were all right.
Yeah,
65 and 17.
Magic, Worthy, Michael Cooper, Kareem.
Yeah. 115.6 offensive rating. Not bad. They were pretty good. But expected win-loss of 62-20 ended up 65-17. First in the Pacific. First round 3-0 against the Nuggets. Second round 4-1 against the Warriors. Western Conference Finals 4-0 against the Supersonics. Beat the Celtics 4-2 in the NBA Finals. Good team, yes, and people are going to say, well, this is bullshit argument, but I think we do have to put stock into, even though it's only one series, playing a 7-game series instead of a 5-game series and looking that dominant throughout. Now, granted, well, no, it doesn't even matter because we didn't sweep until the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah. We took 5 games, 5 games, 4 games, 5 games. I think you do have to put some stock into playing one extra game in the first round and only losing 3 combined playoff games. Yet this Lakers team did too, but they lost an opportunity to lose another in the first round.
I think that game would be really cool. I mean, obviously you're dealing with a 7-2 center, but I think it would be really neat, the athleticism and the switches defensively that this team could have done. With a healthy Porzingis, we have to. I mean, he can't be what he is or what he ended up being here in the finals. He would have to be healthy, but that would be a great, cool game.
But who do you give it to? Are they better? Or is this where we're starting to draw it? Do we get them above the Celtics, 08 Celtics, 01 Lakers, 6-2 Celtics, 13 Heat? And do we slide them in right before the 87 Lakers? That doesn't get us top 10. That gets us top 15, though. That'd be 14.
Oh, we're definitely top 15. Would we be better than that team? I think we could have, 3-point wise. And obviously, I don't think the 3-pointer was really effective back then. I think we could have beat them.
Okay. I'm just looking at this here too. Offensive rating, 115.6. Defensive rating, 106.5 for the Lakers.
Because we could run with them as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Best offensive rating.
Yeah. And then I think because of our defensive, because I said this before, I think because our defense is so great, it helps us transition into offense. And even if this was an up and down, because this was, the start of Showtime, even if they were running as well, I think we could find ways to come back defensively to still upset their offense. And then if they're going into a half court, I think we definitely have it. So yeah, we could beat them.
Yeah. And then, I mean, I think you look at this, and I know it's a tale. The times are different in the league, but just the 3-point shooting ability of this team. And I guess that's where it's weird, right? Because it's like, where do you draw the line? Like, how can we include the 3-point shooting efficiency for this team, but then not also bring up that in 86, 87, it wasn't as big of an emphasis as it is today? I get that point. I understand that. Okay. However, you got to think about the all-around basketball team and how they fit in together and how they're working their strengths to play better offense and have the highest offensive rating in NBA history.
I think what you could do is this. Yes, statistically it wasn't, but what you have to do, and if you know the players, if you've seen the players, do you think Magic Johnson can be and could have shot more threes? Yes.
He could have shot him. Could he have made him?
I would think yes. Michael Cooper probably would try and just put them up all the time and miss them. James Worthy, he's going to be like an Al Horford, just hit a couple. Byron Scott, I think, was on that team. Yes, obviously. But that's, I think we would have, I think they could have tried and it would have been part of the game, but I don't think their efficiency outside of 2 players would have been there. Compared to us, we had 1, 2, 3, potentially 4 out of 5.
Yeah.
With the efficiency.
Okay. 2000 Lakers. I was just looking at them. I took them off my screen, so I don't have all the stats for it there, but I think we kind of remember the 2000 Lakers enough. I think this is where it definitely starts to get close, but I'm still going to take this team over the 2000 Lakers. If you really look at it, dude, it was only Kobe and Shaq averaging over 20 for that team. Now, granted, that you could say that was the same for us with Brown and Tatum. However, we were a much better spread out 1 through 5, 1 through 6, and deeper than that team with fucking Glenn Rice and Derek Fisher is like your next best options, and you're not going to them to get a bucket. Whereas we can do that with Drew, we can do that with Kristaps, you do that with Derek. I'm taking him over that team. If you don't like it, tough fucking shit. Here's the real one.
I think I agree with you with us taking over that team, only because obviously we would have if that team was the Dallas Mavericks this year with only two superstars, what Dallas provided as competition against us, yes, we would have. It would have been the same thing. We would have won.
This Lakers
Now,
team
yes,
also
Kobe was better, but yet they, you didn't have Dallas didn't have the role players step up, and I don't think the Lakers would have either. So, all right,
Lakers team also lost 8 games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
8 games from what was such a dominant team. 3-2 in the first series against the Kings, 4-1 against the Suns in the semifinals, 4-3 against the Trailblazers in the Western Conference Finals, and 4-2 against the Indiana Pacers in the finals where they won it. And I can already hear what's coming. Oh, well, the East wasn't that tough this year, so that's why you guys didn't bring it to any 5 games. Blah, 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 blah. I want to address this point right now. Just because our playoff series didn't get extended does not mean that we were playing against soft competition. It looked easy because we made it look easy this year, guys. This team was so much better. They were levels above every other team, even at everybody's best. This team was just locked in, and they were the best team in the league from the tip-off of Game 1 till the end of the NBA Finals. There was not a single time throughout the whole season where people really considered, the Nuggets they've taken that step up. They're number 1 in the power rankings here. No, it was always the Celtics. So you can't come out here and say, well, you only go 5 games and you sweep in your Eastern Conference Finals. You get to play a 6 seed. What an easy fucking Mickey Mouse route. We can only control what we can control, and that was playing the teams in front of us and playing winning basketball, which we did in 5-5, 4 and 5. We can't help if we play a 6 seed in the Eastern Conference Finals. And to be fair, Pacers were the team that gave us the best fucking run for our money the whole playoffs as a 6 seed. They also beat the Bucks. They also beat the Knicks, who most people were saying, well, if the Knicks get there, they're going to be, because after the first round, once we get the Bucks out, then it's, if the Knicks get there, they're going to be they're going to give the strongest challenge to the Celtics. Well, then the Pacers beat the Celtics. And then it's, the Celtics have it easy because they have to play the Pacers. How does that make any sense?
The best teams at the time won and got to where they were. I don't care that, again, they were a 6 seed. They were able to
play like a 6 seed.
Right. They were able to beat higher seeds to progress into the finals or in the Eastern Conference and the NBA Finals. So you were playing your best basketball when it was needed.
When it matters. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So then 91-92 Bulls. This is a tough one. This is a team 3-0 against the Heat in the first round, 4-3 against the Knicks in the second round, 4-2 against the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, 4-2 against the Trailblazers, won the NBA Finals, 67-15, 115.5 offensive rating, 104.5 defensive rating, plus 11 net rating. Wait, I knew I had the Celtics one up here too. Where the fuck did this go? 2024 Celtics. I want to just pull this up and compare this here, because if we can get him into the top 10, I'll be fine with it. 115.5 offensive rating compared to 123.2 for the Celtics. 104.5 defensive rating compared to 111.6 for the Celtics. Granted, that is different because of the pace of play and everything like that too. Now the game is just different defensively. But you can really get it together with net rating because that is a stat that carries anyways. And whereas I said the Bulls had 11, Celtics had 11.6. This is where it's tough for me, I think. But this wasn't the best of those. This wasn't the best of those Bulls teams either. It gets better than 96, 97 Bulls. You saw this team. Is this the line? Do we draw it here? Can we have them jump this? Because if they jump them, then it's the 67 Sixers, 15 more. I think that's where we probably put ourselves in there. Like I said, I'm fine if we can get this team into the top 10 and I can sleep happy.
Yeah, I think we've already stated this should be a top 10 team. And for all those people that can say that basketball is better now, they're more athletic. You just saw again all those stats of the amount of 50-point wins, 30, 25, and all. It would be absolutely, I think, a fun, series those two teams would play. But again, go back to 3-point wise. Could those guys hit threes? I'm sure, but again, I'm going to take the same argument I did before, that I think we would have more players that could produce at a higher rate than that Bulls team. So we'll take them over.
Because you look at it, if they can shoot threes. I'm looking at the 3-point percentage of some of these guys. This is a Bulls team that doesn't have Steve Kerr as a 3-point shooting specialist here at this point. I think if you have Steve Kerr, you have that three.
They had Will Purdue.
Will Purdue. He shot 50%, but he also didn't even average a 3 a game. Yeah. Literally 0.0. BJ Armstrong averaged 1.1 a game. He shot 40%. That's not bad. Averaged 9.9. John Paxson averaged 0.6 taken a game, shooting 27%. Michael averaged 1.3 a game, shooting 27%. Scotty averaged 1 a game, shooting 20%. I know it was a different game at that point, but if your best players are shooting less than 30% from the 3-point line, it's going to be a tough day. It's also impressive, and it doesn't really. Go ahead.
I think Derek White against Scottie Pippen would be an amazing offensive defensive thing. I think Derek.
Funny.
Yeah. Scotty, yes, had his, but he had more later on, I think, in his career. I really don't think he was absolutely a fantastic, shooter from 15 beyond. Obviously, it shows. I don't think he could have been. So, John Paxson was pretty cool. Loved him because he came out of Notre Dame, but I think he could have been definitely shut down as well.
Now, I will say, in the playoffs, the stats did change here. In the playoffs, 22 games played, Michael did shoot 2 a game, and he was shooting 39% from 3. Scotty was shooting 1.1, shooting 25% from 3. So they got better in the playoffs, but throughout the regular season, still, those aren't the numbers you want to see.
But if we would take this team, this coach, this defensive mentality, it would have been, let Michael do everything he can and try and score, but shut everybody else down.
Which I think they could do. I think they
could do. Yeah.
I think I'll take them over this team. A point that I didn't look at for some of those other teams before, but the next one, okay? I'll give you this because I think this is right where, over the 2015 war. I think I'd place them 9-10 here. Okay. So I think this is the end of the road, but compared to the 66-67 76ers, they finished 68-13. Very good. 101.5 offensive rating compared to our 123.2, 93.9 defensive rating compared to our 111.6. However, there are also 10 teams in the league at this point once they were playing.
Mm-hmm.
A big stat that is just jumping off the page here that I think really goes to show how good this team is too. The 66-67 76ers team. Pace of play, 122.9. 23-24 Celtics. Pace of play, 97.2. We severely slowed the ball down throughout the year and still had that amount of dominant wins, that amount of 20-point leads, 30-point leads, 50-point. You do that at that pace, you have to be incredibly efficient, which goes to show why we were the best offensive rated team. And that stat alone is going to put them over the 66, 67, 76ers for me. A pace differential of that much and still being as efficient as we were. This team 3-1 in the first round against Cincinnati Royals. This is already considered the semifinals because we have 10 teams in the league at this fucking point. Eastern Division Finals, 4-1 against the Celtics, and then won the NBA Finals 4-2 against the Warriors. This team played less teams, played less games, played a higher pace. You'd think they'd run teams out of the gym, and they still end up losing 4 in the playoffs. I'm putting them above this team, and I'll keep them right there. This team is the 10th best NBA team of all time, right behind the 2015 Warriors on that list, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I agree. And it got them into the 10 where we think they should be.
Where we wanted them to be. That's fine. That's good. Okay. What else did I think I had something else here? Oh, Al Horford's coming back.
Yep.
Already. That was said. Wick confirmed that a couple days, actually the day after the finals ended. So that's awesome stuff. And then outside of that, I think that might be all I have. I don't know. Let me see. I'm just going through my Twitter because I was retweeting and I was coming for next after we won the championship this week. Anybody that ever tells you that Jimmy Butler is better than Jason Tatum, again, just remind them, Giannis has an MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, and a ring. Jalen has an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, Finals MVP, ring. Tatum has an Eastern Conference Finals MVP, a ring, MVP, even for Embiid. And all that Jimmy Butler has, all that Jimmy Bumler has, is an 0-2 Finals record. I just want to put that out there.
Hey, so I just pulled up looking at the draft for the NBA.
Okay.
We have Tyler Smith for the first pick. Here, guys, we're looking at Tyler Smith, G League, Ignite. Tyler's 6'9", 224 forward with a 7'1" wingspan, 13.7 points, 5.1 rebounds, and a block. Shooting 36.4 from 3-point. We also have Terrence Shannon Jr., guard forward from Illinois.
I like Terrence Shannon.
Yeah, he did.
He'd be really nice off the bench for us. As a guy, instead of I don't know. I mean, you said we have Sam Hauser and everything.
Yeah.
But just as a guy kind of like that, Terrence Shannon would be good. Now, he could kind of shoot from 3. I saw him during the March Madness run, but he's more of a, put your head down and drive guy that I think would work really well off the bench.
Yeah. Great athleticism. I think could you see him coming in and having that same athleticism that Jalen has, or nice number?
Maybe.
I mean, when he started, I think when Jalen started, because again, 6'6", same type of probably physique and all.
I'd even want to go on to say that Jalen, even when he started, was more athletic than Terrence Shannon. I think it's a little slept on how athletic Jaylen Brown is. He can yam on anybody and everybody, and it's just not talked about enough. I'm taking Jalen coming into the league over him, but yeah, he could potentially fill up into that role. I just don't know if he's going to be. I don't know. Jalen's weird because, and I love Jalen. Jalen came in, and when he was drafted, there was worries about, people just didn't like the pick, but there was also worries like, can this guy shoot from 3? Had a couple seasons where he was trying to get it under him, and was, had some shooting woes and everything. But now he has turned into a very serviceable 3-point shooter, somebody you have to respect at the 3-point line.
Mm-hmm.
Terrence Shannon, but the thing that got Jaylen Brown through those years was his athleticism. I saw him more as like a slashing wing, being able to get into the lane and do that. Whereas Shannon, I think, is not going to come in with that sort of, power as a slashing wing, and you're not going to have to respect him there like you did with Jalen coming into the league and how you do now. However, I do think he'd come in and have a little more consistency at 3, from day one. So I think there are some parallels. I think they are both a little different in their own respect, but yeah, I mean, I think that'd be a great pick. I've seen a lot of stuff about like, I think Bill Simmons actually said this though on a podcast, and they were like, "What would you like for the Celtics to do with the draft?" And he was like, "It would be so funny if they threw one last, like fuck you, I'm the champion jab, and they just took Bronny James at 30. They just took LeBron's kid from him right there, and he might be available. And if he is, like, if Terrence Shannon's there, I want Terrence Shannon. I want them taking Terrence Shannon because it's the better pick. This draft class sucks though. So if it's not Terrence Shannon and you're sitting there and Bronny's there, you could take him. Now I don't know if he would play really, but Bill Simmons made a great point. It might not be you might not be drafting him for what you can get on the court. You draft Bronny and you know that Bron wants to play with his son. Bronny becomes a very, very, very valuable trade asset. That's what you're doing. You're drafting a trade asset. You're not drafting a player. And you can get some pick. If it's the Atlantas or the 76ers or something, they're trying to land that. We wouldn't send them to the 76ers. But you get my point. The teams that really need that move, they're like, all right, LeBron's got 1 or 2 more years left. I think that puts us above the edge. Let's go get him. It's just like, all right, you can have his son, and that'll get him there in free agency. But we need some draft picks, and we need some good draft picks for it. And I think it's a great move, and I really hope that Brad is circling it right now and hoping that he gets there to us. And I think he could do it because we see how Brad moves, players for his draft picks and likes to continue to build this team. I mean, you talk about the payroll, and a lot of these guys that are going to get big contracts, we're about to be above that second level of the salary cap or whatever it is, where we might start forfeiting draft picks because of the fact that we have so many people on the payroll making so much money. So, we do have a window, and we've got a window for the next 2 to 3 years where we could win 2 or 3 more. But you do have to start thinking about the after that. After the Al Horfords, after possibly the Porzingis deal runs up and you don't re-sign him in 2 years, but then you're still going to have the last 2 to 3 years of a Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum duo. You'll still have Drew for 1 year. You'll still have Derek for 1 year. You got to start thinking about that point too. So no, I think it would be a great move. I would love to see it if we draft him on draft night, which is like Thursday. I think we know what's coming from that. I think we can see that pick, and Celtics fans are going to be like, well, he's not going to fucking play for us. And be like, guys, that's not why we picked him. This is strictly a trade asset.
All right. So with the fact that you just said Al Horford and Porzingis coming up on contract deals, can we extend them, or where are they going to be? What about this last guy that is rumored here? And I know you know him. You watched him. Kyle Filipowski. What about him?
No. I love Kyle as a Duke fan, of course. He was a good player for us. Kyle really pissed me off this year. And he's talented and he can shoot. I don't know. And I'm always going to root for Duke players. And I love to see Duke players succeed in the NBA, but Kyle showed me gave me a lot of worry this year with his heart and just how tough he can play. And I think once he gets into the league, he's going to be bitch boyed a little bit. And I don't know. I think if he eventually grows into himself in the league, it's going to be a long-term project, a nice little 4 years before he gets to the point where he puts on the muscle and mentally he's at the point where I'm ready to go out there and fucking bang for rebounds with 7-3 guy. Like, I just don't know if he's ready for it.
Do you think,
not to mention, I don't think we'd get him. He's going to be a top 20 pick.
Do you think, though, a good, not obviously in stature and play, but do you think in heart a good comparison would be Grayson Allen?
No.
Really?
no, they're completely different players. Let's not make the connection just because of the Duke and the hatred. I know that's what you're getting at. I know that's what everybody gets at.
Well, I know. I'm just saying it took Grayson a number of years.
Yeah, but Grayson's also only a 2. He was never going to be a slashing guy, although he was athletic at Duke and had some yams in the national championship and stuff. He was always just going to be a 3-point shooter guy for you, not even a great defensive guy, literally just a shooter for you. And the shooters have to, play a little bit and get it under their feet. But that's all he was ever going to be. Kyle could turn into a serviceable 4. He will never be a 5 because he's not big enough. Could turn into a serviceable 4 that spreads the floor enough. He's got the lateral speed for it. He's got the size for it to be able to play with those 4s. It's just a matter of, getting down there and rebounding and playing defensively where I said, yeah, he's got the lateral movement. I think offensively, defensively he'd be a little slow.
Yeah.
And so that's something you have to grow into also. But I don't think there's a good comparison there, but I see what you're saying. I'm
just saying, just
timeline wise.
Yeah. Timeline that you'd mentioned, and the heart and the willingness to be productive at the college level in a great college program, and then go into the NBA and go, oh shit.
Yeah. Last thing here before we move on to the Sox. I know I mentioned the parade earlier and I was talking about Missoula. Did you get to watch any of the parade? If
No.
you did, what were your favorite part? You didn't?
No.
No,
Sorry.
man. I was actually, when I was getting my card inspected and registered, and I was waiting fucking forever for them to get to my car. I was just sitting there watching the parade, and it was great. There was, I think, rumored to have 2 million people in Boston. 2 million is insane, lining those streets. It goes to show you, you compare pictures of the parade on Monday to any of the other championship parades for any of the other teams, for any of the other sports, dating back to 2018 Red Sox, and you can just see there's a clear difference when it comes to Boston sports and everybody else. This is the city of champions. We know why. You get 2 million people on the street, just showing out for a team that you would have thought that was the first title in the NBA or in the franchise history, where really it's banner 18.
Yeah.
The vibes were just high. You saw videos. Dave Portnoy was on the duck boat.
Yep.
Starting the fuck Kyrie chants. Hank from Barstool was also on a duck boat with Joe Missoula. He got absolutely obliterated too, apparently. But you just look at the team. You felt the love for this team. You felt like when I was watching it, I was like, God, I feel so good for Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum here, because that is, all the shit that they had heard for the years. You saw Jaylen on that duck boat having a great time, as he deserves, as the Finals MVP, as our Eastern Conference Finals MVP. You saw the aura around him. You saw him as that guy. You saw both of them as that guy finally. A great day in Boston sports history, a great day for the Celtics, and a great day for all those players' legacy. So congrats to them, and I wish I could have been there. I think I posted on Twitter as soon as I started watching it. I said, next Boston sports parade that the Sox could win this year, could be the Celtics next year. I don't care what it is. I'm flying up there for a day. I'm going to the parade. I can't not. It looked too amazing because I've never been to a parade. No, you
haven't. Yep.
Too young to fucking go to the parades and actually remember. But now we're going. So that's it. That was 53 minutes of Celtics talk. But banner 18 is up, and we had to get that out. Obviously, we did talk about it on the live show that we did. Thank you guys if you tuned in last week or the week before that to the Game 4 one. Those were super fun. We had a great time. I think we're going to try to do it again throughout the year for certain stuff. We just got to figure out what, it's kind of hard with the Red Sox schedule. Maybe if they do a Friday night game or something that's worth it to watch. Maybe, a Celtics game or Patriots game. We have one primetime game this year, but I think it's a Monday night or Thursday night. It's probably a shit game. I can't remember which one it is right now. Maybe something like that. But continue to look out for live stuff on our YouTube or tweet it on our Twitter or anything like that, because if we're going to do another one, we'll let y'all know. All right. So on to baseball, our only sport now that the NBA is over. We've got baseball only until September. So let's hunker down a little bit. Let's get comfortable with this Red Sox team. An absolutely phenomenal week by the Red Sox.
Yes.
I think we went out there and said last week we were hoping for 4-2. We could see 3-3 to keep the 500 thing. Red Sox didn't care. They went 5 out of 6 over the Blue Jays, swept the Blue Jays, huge one in the division right there, and then split it 2-1 with the Reds. Start another series with the Blue Jays today, but 5-1 brings us to 42-36. And hold on. I can't wait to say this because I didn't think I'd be saying this. But this is a fucking playoff team now. The Sox are going to make the playoffs. 42-36 in the last wild card spot right now, right under the Twins, a game behind, 7.5 behind the O's still. But we talked about it last week. We already know one of those spots is going to be occupied by either the Yankees and the O's. Whoever doesn't end up winning the East. Royals are half a game behind us, and then after that, you've got Stros, Rays, and Rangers that are 4 and 4.5 behind, respectively. This team, man, I don't know what it is.
This team is fun.
This team is fun. This team thrives on the power of friendship, and I think that I think this team's going to be a playoff team. And we're doing all this, mind you, still 18-20 at home, 24-16 away. They are 13-23 against teams above 500. So that is a little bit of a worry. But if you win enough of these series against the Jays, against the Reds, these guys that are under 500, and you get yourself some games to spare, that's how at the end of the year you can come back and still stay in it, even when you're playing the tougher series. Now, I don't know if the Sox will actually make the playoffs. We have at least something to look forward to now, because at the start of this year, we were thinking this team was going to be, I'll say it, right down there with probably the Tigers and the Blue Jays at 36-41, 35-42 right now. And instead we're 42-36 flipping around. So, what do you have about the Celtics here? Actually, or Red Sox. I keep fucking doing that. I do have one stat here, though. This was before. Where did I send this? I sent it here. This was before Friday's game. So, mind you, there's been a couple since. So, these stats aren't exactly correct, but there have been. Yeah, this was right before the Red series started. The last 7 games before that, Zidane Rafaela was on an absolute tear. 16 for 26, 615, 643, 846 /line, 4 extra base hits, and 6 runs. He did kind of slow down in that Cincinnati series. I think he did, on Saturday, 1 for 4 with a run. On Sunday, 0 for 4 with a run. So he got on with a walk, I believe. And then on Friday, that's not Friday, that's Wednesday. On Friday, he went 0 for 3. So the stats definitely went down, but he's been phenomenal. But he's not the guy we're here to talk about, too, is it?
No.
It's our all-star, or who should be an all-star. Mr. Jaron Duran. Go on it. Get at it with Jaron here. I know you got some things to say about Jaron.
I do. So, Jaron, okay. So I saw overall right now, he has not taken a day off, has not wanted to take a day off. He wants to play 78 games, 323 at-bats, 53 runs, 93 hits, 22 doubles, 10 triples, 7 home runs, 36 RBIs. Looking at a batting average of 288. This stat I pulled up, I saw Jaron Duran joins only two other players in Red Sox history on this exclusive list. It is Nomar and Babe Ruth. That list is the fact that they are the only players that have had multiple. I'm sorry. Let's see. He joins Nomar and Babe as the only player since 1918 to record at least 7 home runs, 10 triples, and 21 doubles in 76 games.
My God, that's great territory to be in.
Yeah. Nomar had 11, 12, and 22 in 2003, and Babe had 11, 11, and 21 in 1918. So Duran is at 7, 10, and 21 after 76 games.
Yeah, he deserves to be an all-star. And I think, is it the MLB? I think the MLB has it where every team has at least one all-star. With a team that is now in wild card contention, playoff contention, you'd hope that, the Sox get a little more respect in terms of, voting and stuff like that, and who we get into the All-Star game. But it's just not going to be that way. We know there's the teams at the top, the O's and the Yankees, that are going to take a lot of those, and rightfully deserved. I mean, the teams all around have been great. Duran's probably going to be our only All-Star. Maybe we'll get a pitch or two. I don't know. Maybe like a Tanner Houck, a Cutter Crawford. I'm not sure. Probably not, even though they've been playing phenomenal. But if it is true that we're only going to get one, it should be Duran. He deserves it. Has played his ass off. I mean, you look at the catch that he made to save the game against the Reds this weekend. Absolutely stole it. 2 outs. Well, to make it 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. Robs a home run, deep center field. And you're just talking about, the offensive numbers. There are numbers and statistics too that will tell you and support his defensive presence, but that definitely needs to be taken into account when voting for him and getting him into the All-Star game. And when is that? I was just looking at it. It's coming up July 12th through 16th. So I think let me see, 2.5 weeks away. I'm not sure exactly when voting ends, but we need to get him in there. All right. So if you haven't voted already, vote Jaron Duran for the All-Star game. Or I heard this on the Section 10 podcast. They said this. How like near the end, right when the All-Star game is about to happen, they have that like final 4 voting or whatever.
Yep.
Hold your votes until then. If you haven't voted for Jaron yet, don't. And then once he gets put into that final 4, which he should, let's get an influx of fucking Jaron votes and let's get him in there as he deserves.
So right here, I pulled up. These are the current 6 outfielders. So, and I don't think you have a problem with Aaron Judge or Juan Soto.
Nope.
Kyle Tucker.
He's been great.
He's
he deserves it. He's been great. He's been better than Jaron, I'd say.
Well, his average is 266. 40 RBIs, 19 homers, 57 hits. Jaron has had more, only 214 at-bats, 10 stolen bases. Home run-wise, yeah. The other guy, Steve Kwan.
Steven Kwan's been incredible. He might hit 400 this year. He also deserves to be above Jaron.
All right. And you got the run-wise, I think, he's got 46 runs, 78 hits, 7 home runs. The same, 23 RBIs, 3 stolen bases. But yes, his average at 390 has, but everything else, Jaron has more, and especially at bats. Then we're also looking at Anthony Santander, Baltimore Oriole kid.
Now, this might be this might be where I put Jaron in. And Santander's been great. He has, but I think I'm fine with that right under Quan. I honestly, in my mind, the way they've been playing, I would have had Judge Soto, Quan Tucker instead of Tucker Quan.
Mhm.
But I'd want to put him in right there. I think he deserves to be the fifth outfielder. Who do they have 6?
Alex Verdugo.
Yeah, no, he deserves to be.
Yeah.
4. That's yeah. And don't get me wrong, Doogie's been great. But fuck him, he's a Yankee now. So
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
I would have put him at least. I mean,
right under.
Yeah. No, right under Tucker.
You're putting him under Tucker, so you're putting him.
Well,
above Quan?
no, because we put Quan over Tucker.
Oh, yeah, okay,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens, and at the end of the day, too, like I said, I think they get. Let me just look this up. Does every MLB team get one All-Star? Each team has to have at least one representative on its leagues. Also, yes. So we're gonna have one, and it'll be Duran. It should be Duran. But at the same time, too, this team, man, and the way that they're playing and the way that they do play, the way they're constructed, I don't think they give a fuck about All-Star appearances this year. I think they're winning, like I said, with the power of friendship. And they don't care if they have one All-Star or 10 All-Stars. I don't think it's going to impact how this team plays. And really, it's something beautiful. You kind of just equate it to like this Celtics team. We had not as dominant, but we only had 2 All-Stars in a year in which everybody was like, this is a super team. They should have 5. And we only had 1 All-NBA guy on the first team. The team's just playing for something greater than themselves, which is, trying to win as a team.
They
that's
all
what
have,
the Red Sox are about.
They're very much role players, and you're doing this again without, your Tristan Casas. A lot of injuries, as we mentioned at the beginning of the year. Matsuyama is being your DH and understanding his role. Some homegrown talent with Romy Gonzalez, Rafael Devers, Jaron Duran again when Tristan comes back. So it's fantastic to see. And again, the pitching wise, it'll be really cool to see Tanner and Cutter if they can get into in the All-Star game as well.
Yeah, like obviously they're not going to be starters, but if they're on the roster, that'd be cool if they come in and pitch an inning.
Yeah.
That's all I'm looking for. Just one of them.
Yep.
All right. Well, looking ahead to this week, like I said, we are starting another 3-game set with the Jays today. This one is at home, so I know most teams would be like, "Ooh, yay, we're back at home." I don't know if that's how we're feeling, but hopefully we can continue what we had against them last week.
And this is an opportunity to us to spread the top 3 against the bottom. Yep.
And I don't even think it's necessarily that we have to worry about that. Blue Jays are in last in the AL East at 35-42 right now. Jays ahead of them, or Rays ahead of them, 38-40, and that's us 42-36. While it would be nice to widen that gap in the AL East, I think what it comes down to now is and we're not getting into that home stretch for the playoffs yet, but you want to stay in that wild card mix and not fall too far behind before the All-Star break. I'm looking here, and so our last game before the All-Star break is July 14th. And then our next game after that is until July 19th, and we come right back at it, and we start with the Dodgers. We play the Royals, who are very good, and right behind us in that wild card spot. And then you play the Dodgers, your first series out of the All-Star break. That is going to be a really important time to see where this team's at.
Exactly. A test to see where we're going. Are we going to stay with it, or do you now have to look at, because then you're getting into the trade deadline.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's so you got to see where you're at there.
If we can play, if we can play, that series, we could, I think, take one, maybe not sweep it. Based on, is it a 3-game series? I have no idea at this point. But if you don't get blown out, now you may consider to go, hey, or take 2 out of 3. Now I'm a buyer.
Yeah. So I said Jays 3-game series. Then we got a 3-game series against the Padres at home. That goes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So we have an off day Thursday. And then just look ahead a little bit here. Until those series that I just mentioned. So we got Blue Jays, Padres, Marlins, Yankees, Athletics, Royals, and then Dodgers right after the All-Star break. Pretty favorable schedule outside of the Yankees. However, we did just win the series against them. I'm liking what I'm seeing up until the All-Star break, and then it gets a little tough afterwards. But we'll get into that once we get into that. It's a good schedule for what we're trying to achieve here. But let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Talk about this week with the 3 games against the Jays and the 3 games against the Padres. What are you hoping for? What do you expect?
I would hope for a 4-2. I'm expecting a 3-3. The only reason I'm saying that, and yes, we did very well against the Jays. Right now, we have to learn how to win at home. And that's why I'm going 3-3. I think we could 4-2. That's what I hope, or 5-1. But I don't think we know how to win yet at home.
I think, and damn, I really wish I knew who had pitched, and I'm not going to go look through all this right now. Depending on who's pitching for these upcoming games, I also am going to hope for 4-2. But honestly, I'm going to kind of expect 4-2 this week too. Whether it is, 2-1, 2-1, which is possible, and win both series. I think it could be something too where you're saying, yeah, you got to learn to win at home. Even if we lose the series to the Jays, getting back at home, they just saw us last week. They want to get back what they lost last week, gain a game back. I think you could still possibly sweep the Padres then. Yeah, the Padres are a decent team, and they've got some names on there. But pitching-wise, and I know this because they're fucking selling me money in these last couple of weeks, the Padres love to pitch themselves out of games. They offensively, they like to try to keep up, but they love to, if it's not Dylan Cease on the mound, they love to pitch themselves out of games. So I could see a 4-2 week. I hope to see a 4-2 week. I'm fine with it being 2-1, 2-1. I'm fine with it being 1-2-3-0.
I think I'm going to say vice versa in that I think we go 2-1 against, or 3-0. 2-1, but I think we lose the Padres series only because, again, this is not a team you see that often, and I'm just wondering upon, again, the fact that being at home, making those adjustments. I know Alex Cora, fantastic manager. Andrew Bailey's doing great with his pitching staff, but I just wonder if this is a team you don't get to see that often. What kind of adjustments are you going to make? I think it definitely goes back to the fact that you were saying these guys are buddy. It's a buddy team, which creates better atmosphere out on the road, and playing out on the road. I'm with my buddy than it is at home because you're staying at the hotel and whatnot.
Yeah, makes a good point. It is worth noting before that, though. Now, granted, we both will have an off day on Thursday. Before that, the Padres are making the cross-country trip. They are at home against the Nationals today, tomorrow, Wednesday, to have a day off, and then they're flying from West Coast over to Boston to start it on Friday. So that's why it's a big part, too, why I think we're at least going to take one, and it will probably be the Friday one if we only take one, because the fact that, I know these teams travel a lot, but I've made that fucking San Diego flight from the East Coast. I mean, I know they're all out there and they live on that, West Coast timing and everything like that. Man, that a jet lag is no joke. And
no, it's not.
Even in the first day, could have them a little slow. Saturday they'll probably be full up to speed. So I think the series really starts Saturday. Hopefully we can get an easy one Friday night and start off on a good foot there. All right. Well, before we get into our trivia segment, really quick, Patriots reached a 4-year, $36 million deal extension with Ramondre Stevenson. Looks to be our running back of the future for a little bit. First reaction to this for me, Dad, was holy shit, what a culture change. You would never see Bill Belichick extending a young running back for 4 years. And it's one of the first 5. I'm looking at this now. Is it 5? First 6 extensions that happens under the Gerard Mayo reign, which I think was very cool.
Yep.
So that was my first reaction to it. I like Ramondre. I think in 4 years, 36, that's $9 million a year. It's a steal compared to if you were to wait until he gets to the open market and then potentially have to pay him $12 million a year, something like that. I'd think at least double digits if he has another year this year like we're anticipating.
Obviously, I think it's obviously culture change. Still, probably doing some type of the Patriot way and do your job. But yet, I think looking at some of these players going, I want to play for Gerard. He's going to be a player's coach. And great that Elliott Wolf and Gerard Mayo lock him up long term now, rather than having to get him after what we hope he plays well in this system, and then we have to pay him a lot more than we could have. Yeah.
All right, awesome. Sox playoff percentage is up to 38%, by the way, over the last 12 games to make the playoffs. Just want to put that out there.
Nice.
I wish I looked at this before we started our Sox segment, because there's a great question right here. If they are buyers, what do you think the biggest Red Sox need to fill is? I don't want to talk about that now because we're going to go on for a while, but I am going to send this to you, and we're going to talk about this next week once we're a little closer to that All-Star break. All right. Here we go. Oh, don't do this one. I looked at this.
Oh, really?
You literally just you just look, you pick the player on the picture, the champion picture. That's not too hard. Can we find a stat one or something?
And Celtics stat leaders
from 2000 to 2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Do this. All right, trivia segment. Third episode with a trivia segment now. 120 questions here. Hold on. Let me get this full screen for me. So we've got. Oh, it's every year.
Ooh.
Okay. So every year from 2023 to 2023, 2024, 2000 season, we've got the points per game leader, rebound per game leader, assist per game leader, steal per game leader, blocks per game leader. We got 12 minutes. How do you want to do this, Dad? Do we want to start at 2023, work our way down? I think that's probably the best way.
Do I have to type their names in?
Yeah, you'll have to type just last name and it'll pop up, I think.
Oh, God.
All right. You got it. Play quiz. All right. Tatum. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
God,
so that took in a bunch.
that.
He's been our leading scorer for the last 5. All right. Assists per game. Was it Derek White or Drew Holiday?
Holiday?
It was not Holiday. All right. Derek White. I thought Tatum might have been the assist leader too. It is Derek White. Steals per game at 1.1. Is this Jalen?
Yeah.
Yep. And then blocks per game. That's got to be Porzingis. Porzingis.
Yes.
There it is.
Okay.
All right. On to 22-23. Assists per game. This isn't Marcus Smart.
Smart.
Is it Smart?
Yeah.
It is. Oh my God. Look at Marcus over here. Taking up a bunch of this.
much.
Okay. 6.3 last year. Damn. Blocks per game. Is this Al Horford?
Oh.
At 1.4 in 2022-2023. Oh
No,
yeah, and that
but
gets him
Al
in.
did a
Oh
whole
no,
lot
but
of
he's a
other
bunch of the.
stuff.
Okay, so
Yeah.
who else? Robert Williams, maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 1.4. That sounds like a Rob Williams stat.
Yep.
There it is.
Oh,
That
that
takes
just-
a bunch. All right, moving over. 2020, 2021 rebounds per game leader. Fuck. Rebounds per game in 2020, 2021. This is fuck. This is the team right before we went to the finals. Who was there that was rebounding like that? 8.1. Not Jalen, not Jason, not Robert Williams, not Horford. Oh man. I have no idea. Can you think of anybody?
No.
Let's move on from this one. Let's go down. Well, it's all a bunch of rebounds. Well, there's point scores. Okay. Point scores. We'll do this for 2018, 19. So Isaiah Thomas has got to be somewhere in here.
There we go.
Oh, wow. Okay. Damn, 2018, 2019, and 27, 2018. Who's the leading scorer for us? This is right when Jalen.
Oh, well, Pierce.
Well, yeah, but he's way farther down. But we can do those.
There we
Put
go.
Garnett too. He's got 1 R and 2 T's.
There
Okay.
we go.
Who was the points per game leader? I'm fucking. Oh, man. Like, no way it's like an Avery Bradley or something, right? It might be for like 2013, 2014. Try Bradley. This would be disgusting. Okay, thank God. Like not a Terry Rozier. Kyrie. Forgetting about Irving. But I think this was there he is.
Okay.
Okay. No way Hayward's gonna be here for anything. No, he didn't. He was hurt too much. I was gonna say maybe for rebounds. Try Hayward. Maybe he could be one of the rebounds guys. Hey. He's not. Okay.
Nope.
You want to hear something gross? Try Jared Sullinger. Sullinger. I don't know if this is going to be one of those.
Yep.
It is. Okay. That's so gross. All right. I really want to know who these like rebounds guys are. Who was on these teams that was rebounding a lot? Oh man, I don't want to look this up. I'm not going to look it up. 2020 to 2021. I can't even think of like any big guys. Like Aaron Baines.
Did I put in?
You did.
Yeah,
you did,
I
Jalen.
wrong. Okay.
Try Baines. Bayns or Baynes. No way Aaron Baines is going to be. No, not a rebound leader. Fuck, man. I don't know. Here, try like Ray Allen. Maybe he'll grab something here.
I already did, Alan.
You did? Okay.
Yep.
Trying to think those younger years. 01 to 07, 08. Kendrick Perkins. He could be a rebounds leader potentially.
Yeah.
There's Perk. Okay. Rondo. Duh, he's gonna grab a bunch of these assists. Yep. Damn, he was there till 2013, 2014. Well, that got a lot. Okay, rebounds per game early. What about oh my God. Baby, Glenn Davis, was that his name?
Oh
Glenn
yeah.
Lewis? Glenn Davis. There he is. Ricky Davis.
Oh,
So
Ricky
that was-
Davis.
Who was that guy? Was it Glenn Davis?
It was.
It was. Okay, so he just wasn't. Okay. Who else are we thinking here? 11 rebounds per game in 06, 07.
I'm
This is
trying
right-
to think of. You got 14 and 15 and 13 and 14 points per game leader.
I know these were disgusting teams. Though you remember, this is like the Jared Sullinger, Kelly Olynyk, fucking Avery Bradley, Jeff Green, Celtics.
Oh,
like
there we
these-
go. Yeah.
Jeff Green.
There you go.
Oh, it was Jeff Green. What an absolute snipe. Okay. We already tried Avery Bradley. No way Terry Rozier was drafted in 2014, 2015, right? To have that assist?
Oh, maybe.
I don't think so. No. Scroll up a little bit. What do we still have left in these more recent ones? Okay. Still just those rebounds per games. We got to think here. Who is this guy? It's not Horford. This is when we didn't have Horford, I don't think. Not Robert Williams. Who was playing a 5? Tristan Thompson. Try Tristan Thompson. He was here at some point.
Yeah.
Bang. There's 2020,
Nice
2021. Okay. 1920. Damn, I was really hoping that was going to be both. Dude, no way it's like a Marcus Morris, right? No, not a Marcus Morris. Man. You think of any of these early 2000s guys? We got what? Assists open, get some rebounds open, a lot of blocks too. I'm just trying to I can't really think of like who's with that team. Yeah, any names that are coming to your head here?
No, I just typed in, not sure, but yeah, Reggie Lewis was passed by then.
Yeah. Fuck, man, we can do this. We have 4 minutes. One name is going to hit for a couple. Early 2000s rebounder for the Celtics. We're drawing a complete blank here. I feel like I should know like some of these 2015, 2016 like steal guys too, but I can't. It's just going to be a bunch of like scrappy fucking guys. In 2019, 2020.
Yeah.
That's the bubble year.
2014, 15, 5.5 assists per game.
This team was terrible, like so bad.
But I mean, 5 assists per game?
I know, like, and it's not Isaiah Thomas. It's right before Isaiah.
And it wasn't Rondo.
Wasn't Rondo, wasn't Marcus, wasn't Avery Bradley. Fuck, dude, we've had so many just like random role player guy in that 2013, right after the trade, 2013 to 2015, 16 there. That's just such a gross couple Celtics. Try like, there's no way. Kelly Olynyk might have 0.9 points per game. Olyn, I think NYK. Is that how you spell it? I want to make sure it is. Okay, so he wasn't. Fuck, dude. Who else is this guy? We already tried a Williams. It would have pulled it in. Oh, man. Are we going to have to wave the white flag on this? 11 rebounds per game in 06-07. Who's right before Garnett? That's not Perk.
That's a lot of rebounds.
Brandon Bass? Is he anywhere on here?
Oh,
boom.
Yeah.
Blocks per game. Okay. Nailed that. Yeah, that's God damn, that team was so bad. I'm just trying to think of like obscure Celtics right now. Fucking oh man, I don't know. You'd be so surprised. It's 10 years ago, but it's like these 2019, 2021s are going to kill me here. Who was with Marcus and Jason in the bubble? This is the year I think we lost to the Nets. Oh my God, man. 7.4 rebounds per game, too. It's not even like that many. I think I might be cooked here, Dad. You got anybody else, or we can just press to give up?
I'm trying to think about. I mean, look at that 06-07, 11 rebounds per game. Can't figure that out. All right. Well, we hit 97 out of 120. So
not bad. Let's see what the average. Oh, we just almost hit the average. Okay. So Ennis Freedom, Ennis Cantor. Okay. Daniel Tice. That was it. I remember that name. Jay Crowder. These were the guys I was trying to think of. Jay Crowder, Amir Johnson, Evan Turner with 5.5 assists per game. Yep.
Al Jefferson.
Jermaine O'Neal, Al Jefferson. Okay. Antoine Walker. Damn. Antoine Walker would have got a bunch. How did we not think of him?
Walker, yeah.
Gary Payton, 0405, 6.1 assists per game. What the fuck? Delonte West, Al Jefferson, Jermaine O'Neal. Damn. And Mark Blount. Who's Mark Blount? You remember Mark Blount?
No.
All right. That wasn't too bad. I mean, we nailed a good amount of the. I definitely could have got.
If we would have gone Anton Walker, that would have done very well.
Huge. I definitely could have got a Jay Crowder. I should just threw it out there. I knew he'd been on the team. I didn't think he was going to lead anything. Evan Turner, another one. I knew he was on the team. Didn't think he was going to lead anything. Probably could have got that. Amir Johnson, if I could have placed him on that 2015, 2016 team, maybe. Antoine Walker was a big miss. We should have got that.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's about all of them. And Ennis Freedom. I wonder if you put Ennis Cantor, if it still would have got it. It might not have, since he legally changed his name, but I don't know. That was a fun one though.
That was good.
Not too bad.
Keeping up with our
trivia segment.
Yep.
All right then. Well, that's more than enough time that we have here. Yeah, like to our hour 30-minute mark, so that's good. You got anything else here before I close this off for episode 25?
No, not at all. Just that, again, very thankful for all of our listeners. And yeah, great Celtic finish off our Celtic. We're talking about, and I was mentioning this at some networking events. What a way to start a podcast with a championship.
Yeah,
starting our new era.
It didn't even really take it. We did it mid-season for him. Yeah, we're bringing good vibes. Wish I could have done it for the Bruins or something too, but who knows? Maybe the Red Sox will continue it this year. We'll keep up with them throughout the summer until we get closer to football time and closer to the winter sports and get everybody back into gear. But until then, it's Go Sox. Until next year, it's Go Celtics. It's Go Banner 18. Let's go back to back. Let's put up Banner 19 now. But great week for Boston sports. Great week for the celebrations. And hopefully we got another good one here with the Sox. And we'll talk about it next week. We thank you guys for listening in to episode 25 of A New Era podcast. Make sure to keep up with us on all social media platforms, Twitter and Instagram at A New Era Podcast. On Facebook, just A New Era Podcast. YouTube is also A New Era Podcast. You've got the replays of the live streams of Game 4 and Game 5 up there if you'd like to watch those, along with all of our new episodes are also going up on YouTube, so you can listen to them there. And am I forgetting anything here? Email anewerapodcast@gmail.com if you'd like to send us anything, any questions, comments, concerns, or funny business. That is it from us, and we will talk to you guys next week for episode 26.
Love you, son.
Love you, Dad.